In activity 1.2.2, we're going to do some more work with typical specifications. So the first step is to figure out the purpose of specifically the Caltrans BMP's best management practices. And there's a list of videos to watch. You can watch at least one. You might want to watch them all. You can watch them at a increased speed if you want. And based on that, and based on what you read in the Caltrans BMP, explain why BMPs are important in general. And remember, when you explain, you're going to summarize, synthesize, list, things like that. Let's see what that looks like. Here's a sample. Okay, you might start with the purpose of the Caltrans BMP is to, and then finish the sentence. That might be how you wish to go about it. Or you can say Caltrans BMPs are intended to. You can start it in any number of ways, and it should take about 2 lines. You might have room. Let's just check it out. You barely have room for 3 lines if you want to make that one just a little bit shorter. Now, I've made this yellow so that you can see it very well. In yours, you're going to leave it alone. Okay? But there's a little text box for you to work in. Just click on it and start typing. Okay? And I think 2 lines fits nicely and looks really good. Um, and then you can do your other work. Okay? So that's the first part. That doesn't really take too much to do. 1 to 2 lines as shown in the workbook. Then you're going to take one sample from the Caltrans best management practices. On your resources page, you're going to find in 1.2.2, there's the BMP. And then you're going to find some videos. You'll have watched at least one of those. And their numbers go according to a sequence in their training protocols. You'll find the equivalent one. Let's say I choose this one, stabilized entrance. You'll find stabilized entrance in here. Okay? And then you'll go to that one. Let's see what it says. You come back over to here. And you'll identify the BMP code number from the PDF. Let's see what that will look like. Okay, so let's go back up here. Let's open up the BMP. And if I look at stabilized entry, I can start looking through here and I can do Control F. They didn't have that listed specifically, so let's go back. Stabilized. Let's go through here. Come back down to the table of contents if I can find it here. Stabilized construction entrance and exit. So it'd be a TC1. And that's what I could put here. TC1. Okay, now I've chosen one just to give you an example of how to do this with one that's not in the list. Okay, so I've chosen my example for one that is not in the list so that I don't use up one that's in the list. You get to pick one. Let's see what it says to do next. Identify the BMP code number. So in this case, I've chosen to do SS2. And then it says to identify the title. SS2 is preservation of existing vegetation. So if I were to come here and do SS-2, I could copy that. Right click, copy. and put it right in here. So I can copy and paste to get that. The next thing I'm supposed to do is copy the application. So the applications are right here. I need to copy these items from the application. And if there's too many of them, pick some of them. Okay, and so under applications, I pasted them in. And I did the same one with copy some key points. And I'm going to get rid of copy key points. Now I've got something that tells me about it. And I took them directly from here. And on the key points, I just wrote out what they were: timing, layout, training, pre-preservation. Now let's look at some formatting. Remember in a previous one, I talked to you about that a little bit too. So first thing I can do is I can highlight my main dot and go to Format, Options, and I think it's Size and Rotation. Let's see. Yep. Nope, that's not it. Let's look under Position. No, it's probably, there it is, Text Fitting. And I've got an indentation. And I've made the indentation here 0.12. Recall that I said that that can be anywhere between 0.12 and 0.25. Maybe I want it to be 0.18. That moved it over just a little bit. Okay, and then in my hanging part, I've left that fairly close. Now I've got to go change these ones to make it look right. 0.28. Maybe I want 0.31. 0.38. That looks pretty good. So you have the ability to change this if you feel you need to make it fit well and look good. Okay. So there's that part. Now I need to get an image to sit over here, and I see it's about a square area. So over here, I would want one of these images if I can get it, because I want it from the manual. So this one looks like preservation of existing. This one looks pretty good. I'm going to make it as big as I can, take a snip, and then on the snip, I think I want to call attention to the part that is preserving the vegetation. So I've done a little bit of extra work to it. And if I want to, I can even do a little bit of an underline to show. And then it goes up this hill a little ways. So let's get one up there. And I can right click, copy, and then go put that into my workbook. That will let me know that you read it and understood what the pictures meant. Now I've got it evened up with my text box, so I've done a nice job. I need to move it over just a little bit so that my margin on the left is about like my margin on the right. My margin on the bottom is a little too small, so I can bring that up. Now things are looking a little bit more even, well spaced. There's still a lot of room all around. Remember also that we might want to put a small border around it, maybe not too dark, and we might want to go ahead and put a drop shadow around it just so that it's got some pretty good looks. So now if we go back to fit to page, now I've got my 1.2 all the way done, and I've got a well laid out, easy to read and complete presentation for 1.2.1, and I just finished 1.2.2.